think is the hardest challenge for the average man today?
That's a good question. It's a really good question. I think that a lot of people don't understand that it's all of the challenges and struggles that's going to make them, it's either going to make or break them. I don't read studies very often, but I was sent a study about stress from somebody. It's probably the best study I ever read. And it's talked about the placebo effect of stress. And it said that they took some of the most stressed people in the world, CEOs, etc. And the ones who believed that stress was really bad for them were dying earlier because of the cortisol inside of their blood. And they said stress is really bad for them, they were having heart attacks. But the ones who believed that stress was good for them and it made them perform, I perform under pressure, stress is good for me, they were living longer. So the same drug inside of their blood, how they framed it inside of their mind had different effects on their body. So from that point onwards, even though I already thought this way, I knew I was the right way. I knew it was the right way to think innately because I've done pretty good in life that way. But this confirmed it. Every time I feel stressed or under pressure, I get excited. I hate to not be stressed. I wake up and I'm like, everything's fucked. Good. Yes. Like that's just how I am, right? But it's how you adopt. It's how you look at the problems and how you use them to fuel you. So the question was, what's the problem for the average man today? What's the biggest problem? I think there's a whole host of problems. But what you have to do is frame it inside of your mind and understand that all of those problems are going to allow you, give you the fuel and the unlimited motivation that you need to become a successful and beautiful individual if you frame it in the right way. If you take a man and give him a life shielded from problems that he never has any to face, I guarantee you he's terrible at being a man. The best men in the world have gone through shit. That's why women love scars, because they didn't kill you. That's the whole point of it, right? So the best thing you can do as a man is look and go, okay, this is hard, this is hard, this is hard, this is hard. I feel negative because these are all so difficult. I'm struggling with X, Y, Z. Let me internalize all of that and turn it into a superpower. Let me become genuinely uncomfortable with my situation in life and go and fix things. Because, like I said, the universe is absolutely and utterly very giving. And if you truly hated being in the position you were in, you wouldn't be there very long. So I think the number one problem with the world today and the biggest problem that men face isn't the problems themselves. It's just the way that they've been taught to mentally frame issues. People think when bad things happen to them that somehow they're a victim to the universe and bad things only happen to me and this is so terrible. They don't understand that bad things happen to everybody, and the most successful person you know had all those problems. Maybe even worse. At least the same bad things happened to them. They just framed it differently and used it. That's the difference.
Well, a lot of people look up to you, obviously. But what is an achievable amount the normal guy in the street should be looking to achieve, do you think? On a salary basis?
Yeah, and that's a good question. I truthfully believe that the universe is a very giving place. And I don't want to sound, airy-fairy, but I truthfully believe that the universe is a giving place and that if you actually really want something, you can have it. How much you want is how much you're prepared to sacrifice. So if you want $500,000 a year, you can definitely make that. And that level of stress you'll absorb for that money and the amount of headache you'll go through, if that's the amount you're prepared to accept for a happy life, you'll have it.
Do you think anyone can do that though?
I think that you have to pre-decide, right? So even my level of wealth comes with enormous stress. Governments are after me. Like most people are not mentally prepared for the bullshit I go through. So the number one factor that's going to decide how successful you are as a person is your ability to absorb stress, your stress level. The better you are at dealing with stress, the more problems you can fix, the more money you're going to make. So you have to decide where on that scale, because you could just be homeless and have no stress. Right? You could be a brokey and be on the dole and just, I'm broke, but nothing really troubles me. So you have to decide on that level where you want, how much stress you can possibly absorb as a man. And then if you truly want that level, you're going to get it. I believe any man can make anything they want, depending. Any one of you here, I'd have no idea how much money you're making, but if you were to say, you know what, I'm throwing away my relationship, I'm throwing away my social life, and I'm going ham, I'm going nuts, and I don't care what they do to me, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna make it. You'd make a bunch of money, but there's a bunch of garbage that comes with it. So you have to decide, right? So I think it's a conscious decision. Anybody can be as rich as they want to be. That's the true thing about it. The realm of competency in which a man must operate. Aiden, you must operate inside of a realm of absolute competency. Your goal as a man, your mission as a man is to discover the truth. Because you must find the truth of the universe and the truth of the world, because only the truth will set you free. You're not born with an innate value like a female is. A female can be born beautiful. She doesn't need to be interested in the truth. She can just be happy, believe in fairies and crystal skulls, and go through life and be happy. What's actually interesting is men find that attractive. I find permanently happy women attractive. Women who don't live in the harsh, brutal realities of the world, who are perhaps a bit too optimistic and airy-fairy are very attractive to men.
Yes.
Because if a man has a very difficult life, he likes the idea of always being around a happy woman. For sure. I don't want a woman who's gone through the same kind of trauma and stress that I have. But as a man, you must go through a process of discovering what is true and what is false about the world and developing absolute and utter competency so you can outcompete other men. Life is a competition. All of this is a competition. We are constantly competing against each other, and men are in constant competition. This is why there's been endless wars since the beginning of human time. You do not understand.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't understand.
Yes, I do.
The Aztecs were at war with somebody. The Mao dynasty was at war with somebody. There was endless wars in the savannah before we were even born. The Mongols were sieging Vienna. There has been endless war, constant competition. And that has been forgotten.
Okay, fine. I understand.
You have to outcompete every other man for everything you have ever wanted.
That's fine.
No, it's not fine.
Social media and the world as a whole is now setting unrealistic goals for people, whether they like it or not.
Because it's everyone's airbrush lifestyle.
Completely. It's very hard now to be a man in the world and not have unrealistic expectations. If you're anywhere on the internet, you're seeing a whole bunch of crypto 19-year-olds pushing fucking cars and doing all this shit. So yeah, your expectations are gonna be ridiculously high. So I think people who get demotivated because they don't quite hit where they want to get just need to be more realistic about it. And like I said, you need to get a piece of paper or understand on a scale of 1 to 10 and say, how stressed do I want to be? How much pressure do I want to feel like I'm under? How much can I take? And be honest with yourself. I know I can handle it. I'm a professional. I've had 87 professional world champion fights. I've been there. I've been in the dressing room about to go fight a dude who just killed his last opponent. Like, I understand pressure. Most people don't. So you have to sit and go, how much pressure can I really take between 1 and 10? Well, let's say it's a 6 or a 7. Okay. And then you need to work out an income that reflects that. And that should be your goal and be happy with it. People sit there and go, yeah, I want to be as rich as Tate. I want to be top cheetah. Most of you, the reason you're not here is because you couldn't do it. I could hand my life over to a bunch of people, even as it is completed.
And they couldn't do it.
They couldn't live it. They couldn't live it. They just fucking
Is that because they want that safety net as well? Do you think that's an aspect that allows you to push to the level you have?
Well, there's equal and opposite forces in the world. Everybody wants to glitz and glamour. Nobody wants equal and opposite force. Like, there's no such thing as, yeah, okay, there's a whole bunch of good with the fame, there's a whole bunch of bad with the fame, there's a whole bunch of good with the money, there's a whole bunch of bad with the money. So that's how it goes. I wanted this life. This is exactly what I want. It makes me happy. But there's a whole bunch of people who would not be happy in my position just because of the amount of pressure they're under. In my last cancellation, we had press trying to find my mother, family members doxxed. My last 20 ex-girlfriends called and offered a bribe, effectively 100,000 pounds to do a negative story on me. None of them turned. Bank accounts frozen, travel bans, all my social media is deleted, all over the news, national news, I'm evil, press releases in the schools saying that I'm bad for young men and I'm misogynistic. Like, most people are not prepared for that level of pressure. I slept fine. Most people would be like, whoa, there are death threats. Like, most people can't handle that. I can handle it fine. Most can't. You have to decide what you want to deal with. So when you're setting your expectations, it shouldn't just be about how much money you want to make. It's truly about how stressed and how much pressure do I want to be under. I actually enjoy it. I'm a warrior. I'd be bored in the other way. I want people coming for me. That's what I want. But if you don't want that, then don't build a life that does that. It's actually amazing to me, and I'll say this because I think the number one thing that plagues humanity nowadays, especially amongst young men, is laziness. A lot of people come to me and say, how do I become successful? And I say, you're lazy. And they say, I'm not lazy. You are fucking lazy. Everybody is monumentally lazy. Nobody understands what genuine work ethic and ethos is. And for me, it's hard to understand because I struggle to not work. I struggle to sleep. I struggle to relax. I can't sit and watch Netflix. I can't sit and play video games. I can't do the dumb shit everyone does. All I can do is conquer Earth. I can't even turn my brain off long enough to become unconscious. So it's very difficult for me to understand people who sit there and go, yeah, I want to be successful, but I can't find the motivation.
Why I think I fight. Do I enjoy it? No. Do I enjoy training? No. Do I enjoy cutting weight? No. Am I nervous? Yes. Do I think to myself, what am I doing? Yes. Completely. Unfortunately, it's one of those things you're either born with or you're not. And the only way I can explain it to try and make it make any sense is that if I'm not doing something which is either extremely difficult or extremely stressful, I'm in a perpetual state of crippling boredom. I can't explain it. I see other people live their lives and they're like, oh, I can't wait for the weekend because I want to watch this movie. I think, who cares about a movie? You're looking forward to the weekend for a movie? Looking forward to the weekend to get drunk? Like, these things to me are so mundane. They mean nothing. And if I don't fight, if I'm not in a situation where I'm stressed or worried or concerned, I'm just perpetually bored. And boredom's crippling. If you're an intelligent person and you've got a good brain on your shoulders, you can't just sit there bored, you know? So most smart people take the academic route to avoid boredom, and they learn, but that's never really interested me either. Although I've always been an intelligent guy and I've always done well academically, it It never really interested me. And then I see people climb Mount Everest or jump off buildings or do base jumping, or the guy who jumped from space. People think, what's he doing? He's crazy. I understand, because some people can't live normal lives. Some people cannot just function 9 to 5 office job, get drunk at the weekends. That is not for some individuals, and it's not for me. So I have to find something which keeps me physically tired enough to stop me going AWOL, and mentally tired enough. And I've chosen fighting, because without this, when I'm not in training, I wake up every day and think, okay, what am I gonna do today? It's 9 a.m. on a Tuesday, I'm bored, everyone's at work, I'm bored, and I'll end up doing something crazy. I'll either end up drunk or on the Eurostar, or, you know, it's just a random lifestyle, because I'm constantly looking for never-ending entertainment, and it doesn't exist. I think the only thing that could stop me fighting is if I had enough money to constantly entertain myself. Unless I'm a billionaire, I need something that keeps me focused and keeps me occupied in life. With fighting, I have to train twice a day, and I have to train hard, and the stress it brings in every aspect can replace fun, and my mind is occupied. It occupies me. It's the only way I can try and explain it. It occupies me.
Out of all like the successful people, most successful people in the world, would you say that all of them have like something in common in the sense of like some sort of hardship in their life? It's not.
Well, yeah, I mean, trauma is extremely important, and this actually goes back into answering the first part of your question, which is interesting. There's a study I read about stress, and it was saying that stress has a placebo effect attached to it, because the placebo effect is extremely powerful. So they found some of the most stressed people in the world, and they split them into 2 groups, and they're all equally stressed. They all have a bunch of cortisol in their blood.
Yeah.
The people who believed that stress was bad for you and that stress can hurt you, and they believed those media articles, were dying earlier. They were having heart attacks and they're having stress-related illnesses. The people who believed the opposite, who just said, stress is part of being successful. I like stress. When I feel stressed, I do my best. It makes me anxious. It turns my brain on. I like being stressed. Lived longer than average.
Yeah.
The point is, the same drug, how you look at it and how your body anticipates it, how you feel about it, affects the real world results, which goes back into what you were saying earlier about the jealousy. You're saying people look on social media and they get jealous and it demotivates them. That's because they decide to be demotivated by it. Do you know what happens when I get jealous of somebody? I fucking beat them.
Yeah.
If I look at somebody who has something I ain't got, I will take it from them by hook or by crook.
Well, when I watch other people on social media and I see someone killing it, like whoever it is, someone, that fires me the fuck up.
I love it. I wish someone could make me jealous. It's hard now. I got everything. I wish I could look at somebody and go, fucker, I'm going to beat you.
Somebody really wants to do something, but maybe they don't have the talent. Is that another excuse, or how do you see that?
Talent certainly helps, but I'm telling you, it doesn't matter whether it's golf, it doesn't matter whether it's kickboxing, it doesn't matter whether it's chess, anything else. 95% of it's hard work. There is no talent without hard work. You can't realize talent without hard work. Because even if you're going to argue that I'm more talented than someone else, that's fine, but we have to have both done the same hard work to realize that. If I've done no hard work and this guy trained for 10 years,
fantastic
then it's talent, you know? So talent is a slight edge after the years of hard work. So people say this to me a lot. Like people go, "Oh, Tate, you have money because you're lucky. You're a fighter." I'm like, lucky? I'm a fighter. That's an easy job. You think I'm lucky? I'm a fighter. You think getting up and running and training and breaking bones and literally risking my life and losing 10 kilos in a week and all this bullshit thing is easy? Like people don't like connect. Like, oh yeah, but you're talented. I say, how would I know I'm talented unless I fucking trained for all these years? You don't know these things. So absolutely, I think. The difference between those who are truly successful in something and those who aren't, a lot of it's down to just the basics of having your life in order. Like I know one of my biggest assets is my brother. I'm very lucky to have my brother. Me and my brother are closer even than twin brothers are. We work together, we live together, we train together, we share a bank account, we'll never live apart. Like and I was always lucky to have someone like that because I always had that masculine energy around me to keep me focused on the right things. Like if I split up with a girlfriend or something, nothing could distract me from my mission. You know, me and my bro, we were always getting stuff done. So I was lucky. But in general, a lot of it's down to just who you surround yourself with, how you view your life and your priorities and your relationships and stuff. You know, the number one thing I've seen from a lot of fighters who fall off is just shitty girlfriends, man. I've seen some amazingly talented dudes just lose careers because their girlfriend's an idiot. And she's giving him stress and he's trying to keep the relationship working and da-da-da. This is sometimes I say things about girls and women and stuff and things on Twitter, but I've seen it. I've seen probably the number one thing I'd say that ruins fight careers especially can be a toxic relationship because the stress you're under, you're in a very masculine environment, it's very testosterone fueled, then you're under huge stress for your upcoming fight, and then your girlfriend wants attention too, and it can all just spiral down into nothing.